First Amendment Protection Agency upset by police dispatch humiliation on Livestream. The man who Jose Chille DeCastro described as the greatest First Amendment auditor in the world, First Amendment Protection Agency FAPA, was triggered as went live on Friday when he made an in-person complaint about Holden, Massachusetts police officers. FAPA said he had an incident with Holden police officers the day before when he was recreating another incident involving 15-year-old auditor, First Amendment advocate. The boy auditor caught FAPA and DeCastro's attention after being detained outside a bank in Holden, Massachusetts, for standing in a roadway. The adult YouTuber encountered police in his recreation of the video, who were also called by the bank to investigate his suspicious activity. FAPA had been triggered in his encounter because of the unprofessional behavior the officers showed towards him. In particular, he was upset at one of the officers for throwing his identification on his lap when returning it instead of waiting for him to put down one of his cameras to accept the identification. FAPA explained that he was live streaming the filing of the report because he was afraid of retaliation from Holden police and his thousands of viewers would have his back. The stream topped out at 290 viewers at peak. The YouTuber entered the building and immediately went to a window marked dispatch and asked for a police officer to take his report. The dispatcher told him she'd call someone, then shut the metal blind on her window upon seeing that he was recording. A man and a woman came in for a scheduled report to police, who briefly argued with FAPA over his need to film them. FAPA smugly explaining that they were in public, and he had every right to film. The pair were quickly escorted inside a meeting room by a police officer before the argument with FAPA would continue. FAPA, who one commentator described as a cross between Logan Paul and Cyrax, was approached by Officer Consiglio of the Holden Police Force. The officer watched portions of FAPA's edited video of the incident before leaving to get FAPA a complaint form. When the officer returned, he upset FAPA by stating that he did not see enough in the video to put the events of the previous day in context. He added that he'd need to talk to the officers involved in the incident to get their side of the story before making up his mind. FAPA returned to his car, which was parked at a local restaurant, and spent 20-plus minutes filling out the complaint form and proclaiming himself the perfect auditor, with no regrets about anything he's ever done. He also challenged how much money members of his chat made as they couldn't compare to him. Finally, he stated that he was the nicest person outside of auditing, and everyone who met him agreed on that. Returning to the building, the nicest person became triggered when he approached the dispatch window, and the woman working the window refused to give him her full name, stating that she was not required to do that. Triggered, FAPA angrily threatened that he was going to do a FOIA request for her name and her salary and whatever else about her that his chat could come up with. Officer Consiglio returned to get FAPA's complaint and explained that the dispatchers were not part of the police force and affirmed the fact that their policy does not require them to identify themselves to the public. FAPA heard someone say the name, Isabella, and mockingly began to refer to the dispatcher by that name before deciding to end his live stream. It is unclear if FAPA carried out his threat to FOIA request the dispatcher's name and other information. FAPA also confirmed during the live stream that he had sent multiple emails to the teenage First Amendment advocate and offered a joint auditing session. First Amendment advocate had not responded to him as of press time.